and I'm a digital artist from Mexico. This time, I'll show you how to create a birthday card on Adobe Illustrator and how to use different tools and effects to speed up your work. All the keys and shortcuts I use are going to be displayed on the screen so you can follow along. Let's begin. The first thing we want to do is create a birthday cake. To create a birthday cake, we're going to use very simple tools, all the shape tools that you have in Illustrator. So you're going to open a new document. I had already done it here. And if you go here on your tools panel, probably by default you're going to see this rectangle tool. But if you click and hold that click, you're going to see the rest of the shape tools. These are tools that we're going to be using a lot. So I would recommend you that you release the click right here where this little arrow is to make the window float around. Now you can move this window closer to your canvas so you can access the shapes quickly, or you could use your shortcuts. The first thing I'm going to do is create a rectangle. To create a rectangle, I'm going to simply go to the rectangle tool here or press M on my keyboard, and then I'm going to just click. And if I just click on my canvas, I'm going to get this window where I can input my width and height. I'm going to make a rectangle with a width of 180 and a height of 90, and I'm going to hit OK. And now I have my rectangle. Now, if you're using Illustrator CC, as I am using it right now, you're going to see these little dots on the rectangle. And if you move them, you can round the corners. If you're using an older version of Illustrator, you can achieve more or less the same effect. So you can go select your shape and go Effect, and then Stylize, and then Round Corners. And in here you can preview and change the radius to get a similar effect to what you would get in CC. So if you're using an older version of Illustrator, I would recommend you to do this. I'm going to cancel because I'm using Illustrator CC and move my corner around 15. And that's it. Now I have what is going to be my cake. Now I want to create another rectangle. So I'm going to go again to my rectangle tool or press M on my keyboard and make a click. Now I'm going to make this rectangle with a width of 105 pixels and a height of 55 pixels, and I'm going to hit OK. Now I want to align these shapes so they are on the center. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that they are aligned. So I'm going to select both my shapes, and if you see, when I select both my shapes, this top bar has changed, so now it's showing me the alignment tools. Or you can go Window, Align, or Shift F7, and you're going to get this window. This window shows the different alignments that exist for your objects. So I want to align my objects so they have the same horizontal center. So I'm going to click here, and you can see that now they are aligned on the horizontal center. And they are aligning to the horizontal center of my canvas because here on my alignment options, I had selected Align to Artboard. You have to make sure this is what you have here, otherwise you're gonna probably get something different. Now another good thing that Illustrator has is that I want to make sure that this rectangle sits right on the top of the other rectangle. So I'm gonna move this rectangle a little bit to the top so you can see it. And I'm gonna select both my shapes, and then I'm gonna make this bottom rectangle my key object by clicking again on it, and then I'm gonna hit to distribute spacing. If you don't have these options, probably you're gonna see something like this when you open the software for the first time. But if you here to this little menu, you're gonna see this option that says Show Options, and in here you can see the distribute spacing, and in here you can input a value. In my case it's OK 0 because I want this distance to be 0. So I'm going to click right here on the vertical distribute space, and you can see that the top box is sitting right on the top of the bottom box. So that's it. We have our shape for our birthday cake. I'm going to move it a little bit down just with the selection tool or pressing B on my keyboard, and I want to round the top corners of this top rectangle. So I'm going to go to my direct selection tool or press A on my keyboard and select just the top corners. And again, I'm going to change this radius to 15. I could use again the circles or go here on my top and find the corners option and input here 15. And as you can see, that my top corners are rounded. Now the next thing I want to do is create some eyes. So I'm gonna go to the ellipse tool or press L on my keyboard and create an ellipse. Again, I'm gonna click just on the canvas and make an ellipse that has a width of 25 and a height of 28. And I'm gonna hit OK. And now we have our eye. Now I wanna make a smaller ellipse. So I'm gonna click here again, and this time I'm gonna make an ellipse that has a width of 10 and a height of 13. And I'm gonna hit OK or enter on your keyboard. And now I have this smaller ellipse. I'm gonna go to the selection tool so I can see both my ellipses. And what I want to do is, I like to be closer because I want to be closer to my object. So you can zoom with the zoom tool here, with going to the zoom tool or press C on your keyboard, and you can zoom. But you can also zoom in or zoom out with Ctrl plus or Ctrl minus. So I'm gonna zoom, and then if you want to pan around, you can go here to the pan tool, or sorry, to the hand tool, or press H on your keyboard, or you can just simply press the spacebar, whatever works for you. I'm gonna go to my selection tool again, or press B on my keyboard, and move my smaller ellipse inside my bigger ellipse, and I'm gonna put it around there. Now we have the eye. Now the next thing I want to do is create the eyebrow. To create the eyebrow, I want to create another rectangle tool by clicking here on the rectangle tool, press M on my keyboard, and just make a click. And this time I want to make the eyebrow to be with a width of 15 and a height of 5. And I'm going to hit OK. Now that I have this, I'm going to rotate this eyebrow to give it more character. And I'm going to go here to the rotate tool or press R on my keyboard. And then you can do it manually, or you can input the value. I'm going to do it manually just by clicking on one of the anchor points and pressing shift and just moving it up. That way you're going to move it to an exact angle of 45 degrees. And I'm going to release. Now I'm going to go to my selection tool again and press B on my keyboard and put this eyebrow on top of the eye. Now I have them where I want them to be. Now the next thing I want to do is make a duplicate of these three objects, the two ellipses and the eyebrow. So I'm going to select the ellipse and then the other ellipse with shift and then the eyebrow, and then I'm going to go right click, transform, reflect, and make sure that I'm reflecting on the vertical axis and create a copy. Now I'm going to, just with my selection tool, move it to the right, and I can press shift so they are aligned to the same bottom, and around here now I have both my eyes. Now I can select everything, both all the shapes, and then just press shift and deselect again, or try select again the smaller rectangle, so I can just select these eyes and eyebrows. I'm gonna group them with Ctrl G or going object group. So now they are a single object. And I'm going to make sure that everything is aligned to one center. So I'm gonna go here and go to my horizontal line center after I select it all. And that way I can make sure the eyes are aligned to the center. And I'm gonna move them a little bit up because I think they would look nicer if they are on here. Okay, so next thing I want to do is create some icing for the cake. So I'm gonna make a line by going here to my pen tool, or you can create a line, whatever works with the line segment tool, but I'm gonna use the pen tool. So I can go here to the pen tool or press P on my keyboard and make a point here, and then while pressing shift make another point here. That way I can make sure that I have a straight line. And then I'm gonna press P again and make another point here, and then I make another point here while pressing shift. And that way I have two lines. Now I want to create kind of a curved effect here on this line. So I'm gonna select this line and go here to effect, and then I want to go to to distort and transform, and I want to go to zigzag, and I'm going to get these options. So if you hit here on the little checkbox, you can preview the effect, and you can see that I'm getting more or less the effect that I want, but I don't want them to be this sharp. I want them to be rounded, so I'm going to leave the size here in 10 and the writes per segment 4. You can increase this or decrease them, and you can see that this makes very different and interesting shapes. But you can decrease this to 4 because I think that's good and that's working for us. And with the size you can make it wider or you can make it wider, or you can make it smaller. So this is what this controls, and I'm going to change this to 10. And because I want it to be kind of rounded, I'm gonna go here to points and select smooth. That way I'm gonna get this curve just the way that I wanted it. And now that I'm seeing this, I think I'm gonna change this and make this 6 probably. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I'm gonna hit OK, and now you can see that I have this line. I'm gonna move it down because I think it would work better here. And as you can see, this line has a feel, so you can see here how the white is getting in the way. So I'm gonna select this line and remove the fill because we're not gonna need it. And I'm gonna do the same for this line. We don't need the fill, so I'm gonna just remove it here. And I'm gonna apply this same effect to this line. So I could go effect, but if you go here effect, you can see that now here on the top you have apply zigzag, or you can press Ctrl Shift E or go zigzag. If you apply zigzag or you press apply zigzag, the same exact zigzag effect that we just did is going to get applied on this one. And if you just press zigzag or Alt Shift Ctrl E, you are going to be prompted to the zigzag effect, but you can input the values in case you want to change it. So in my case, I'm going to just apply zigzag, and you're going to see that I did that. But now I think this is too much, so I'm going to show you the really cool thing about zigzag is that if you go and click on this line and you go to your appearance window, if you don't have it here by default, you can go window, appearance, or press Shift F6. And if you go here on the appearance, you can see that I have this zigzag effect here. So if I click where it says zigzag, I'm gonna get again the options for the zigzag. So it's really a nice effect, because even if at some point later on your project you want to change this size or the writes per segment, you can do it, and you can still do it. In the case, I think the writes per segment are too much for this, so I'm gonna go to 4 in this case. I think that's okay, and I'm gonna hit OK. So now I have these shapes, and I want this shape to be different than this one. So now we're gonna separate them, or we're gonna use these lines to separate this triangle with the Pathfinder tool. So if you go here to window and go to Pathfinder, or press Ctrl Shift F9, you're gonna have this window that is called Pathfinder. And if I select both this rectangle and then the line that I just created with the zigzag effect, and I go here to the divide, you're gonna see that it's cutting it, because this is what divide does, cutting it, but in a straight line, and that is not what we want. We want to use this little zigzag line we did. So I'm gonna Ctrl C to undo that. And before we can use in the Pathfinder, we're gonna select both our lines, and then we're gonna go Object, and then we're gonna go Expand Appearance. If I do that, now you can see that the line is in zigzag. I don't see anymore that straight line that I used to have. And this is a good thing, because now I can cut my shape with the Pathfinder tools, or use it in any other way. But as you can see in the appearance, now I don't have this zigzag anymore, so I cannot change the width, I cannot change the segments or of the line. But since we were already happy with the result, that's the thing to do. So I'm going to select again both the shapes, and this time I'm going to go again to Pathfinder and find the Pathfinders and do divide. And now you can see that I have the Pathfinders. Sorry, that I have this shape. Now you're going to say like, okay, it cut it. But when it cut it, it also group it. So I'm going to go right click and ungroup. Or you can go here, Object, Ungroup, or Ctrl-Shift-G. And if I do that, now you can see that now I have one shape, sorry, and then I have the other. So I'm going to do the same with this bottom one. I'm going to select both the line and the rectangle, go to the Pathfinder and click here on this icon and divide. Now again, just as it did, it grouped it, so I'm going to ungroup it by right click ungroup. And another thing that it did is that it sent them to the front. So I'm going to select all these 4 shapes, and then I'm going to go right click, arrange, and send to back. Or you can use the shortcut Ctrl-Shift open bracket. Okay, so now we're almost there. Now I think a little mouth is missing, so I'm going to create a circle, or go here by going here to the ellipse tool or pressing L. And the circle I'm going to create, I'm going to go here in the middle, around here. And I'm going to create a circle by just clicking here. And I want to make a width of this circle of 20 and the height of 20, and I'm going to hit OK. Now I have my circle. Now, just as I did with the other ones, I want to make sure that this is aligned to the horizontal center. And I'm going to move it a little bit there. So now we have it. Now I want to make a little mouth, so I'm going to create another ellipse right here. And this ellipse is going to have a 10 width and a 10 height. I'm going to hit OK. Now, just as I did, I'm going to make sure that this circle is aligned. So I'm going to select with the selection tool and then go here on the top to the horizontal line center. And I'm going to move this right there. I'm actually going to make this bigger because I think it's too small. So if you want to change the width and the height of an object, you can do it manually, but you can also input the values here. And I want to make this probably 15. I think it's good. Yeah, 15 is okay. And if you see, both values change because I had deselected the constraint width and height proportions. So now we're almost there. Now I want to create the candles, so I want to make a rectangle tool, and I want to make a rectangle with a width of 15 and a height of 35, and I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to create a smaller rectangle, and I'm going to just click here and make this rectangle with a with a width of 35 and a height of 5, and I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to go to my selection tool, and what I want to do is have this rectangle that I just created selected, and then go to the rotation tool or press R on my keyboard, and again, just as we did before, we're going to just select the anchor point, and while pressing Shift, move it to the top, and you can see that it has changed to the 45 angle or 45 degrees. Now I want to put this here in the middle of the candle, and I think it's a good time to start adding color. So I'm gonna remove the stroke because I don't need it, and change the fill to a color. I have already selected my color, so I'm gonna select this blue, and if you can see, I selected this color, this blue color, and you can see that is the number 4198CE in case you want to use the exact same colors. And I'm gonna hit OK. And what I want to do is just select this one, and while selecting this one, I'm gonna press Alt and Shift to make a copy and make sure that that copy is moving on a straight line. In this case, down. So I'm gonna put it around here and release it. Now I want to create another one, so if you press Ctrl D on your keyboard, you're gonna repeat the last thing you did on the software. So that's why it created another copy on the exact same distance that we just did. So I'm gonna move these three rectangles to the top a little bit, and there we go. Now I'm gonna select the candle, the one that is behind. Again, remove the stroke because I don't need it, and make a fill. In the case of these candles, I think I'm gonna use this. It's kind of a very pale orange, and if you want to use again the same color that I use, is FFF7F5. I'm gonna hit OK. And now one technique that I use a lot, and if you have seen my previous tutorials, you probably know it by now. I'm gonna select these three blue rectangles, and I'm gonna copy them, or sorry, cut them by pressing Ctrl X on my keyboard, or going here to to edit cut. And I'm gonna select my candle, and then I'm gonna go here, right here, where it says draw inside, or you can press Shift D twice, because if you press Shift D only once, you're gonna just move to here to the middle one. But if you press again Shift D, or you go here to the last one, you're gonna go to the draw inside mode. And what the draw inside mode allows is that now everything that I draw is going to be constrained to this little rectangle that I just did. So I'm gonna paste in place again the rectangles that I just cut. So I'm gonna go to edit, and I'm gonna go paste in place, or Ctrl Shift P, and now you can see that the lines are now constrained on the rectangle that I just created. And now I'm gonna go with the pen tool by pressing P, or going to the pen tool, and create a candle. And for the candle, I'm gonna pick this orange color, and if you want to use my orange, is FB9A3B. I'm gonna hit OK. I'm just gonna make a click here, then another click here, and drag a little bit, and then make another click around here, and then another around here, and then another around here. And it's going to be the flame. You can do it like this, or you could use an ellipse as well. You feel that is better. And I want to send this candle to the this fire to the back. So I'm gonna go right click, arrange, send to back, or Ctrl Shift open bracket, and now you have your candle. If for some reason you don't like your shape, you can move the points with the direct selection tool. In my case, I think these 3 points, they could be a little bit lower, because I think they are too high. So I think that's okay. Now I'm gonna select both this light and the candle, or everything that the candle is. And I'm gonna press Alt and Shift. Sorry, I'm gonna while moving it, I'm gonna press Alt and Shift, and I'm gonna create an exact copy of that candle. Just what I did, I'm gonna select both of them and go Object Group, or Ctrl G, to make sure that now they are grouped. And I want to align them to the horizontal line center. I'm going to change the colors of this one, so these are going to be the same. So I want to select the top one and this top one, and I'm going to remove the stroke because I don't need it, and select this pink color. And if you want to use the same pink that I'm using, is E871A7. Now I'm going to select the bottom ones, parts of the cake, and again, I don't need the stroke, and I'm gonna fill it with this yellowish color that I selected. And if you want to use the yellow that I use, is FCEABA, and I'm gonna hit OK. And now I have that. Now I'm gonna make this group. You should remember that I grouped all the shapes, so I'm gonna ungroup them by going Object, Ungroup, or Ctrl Shift G. And then I'm going to select the eyebrows by going to the selection tool and pressing Shift. And I'm going to remove the stroke and add a fill of this brown color that I already selected. You can see here the number A2 4D47. Then I'm going to select both the eyes, and for the eyes I'm gonna use this same brown color. So I'm gonna remove the stroke and again select the brown color. And for my eyes I'm gonna use white, but I'm gonna remove the stroke. And then for my mouth I'm gonna remove the stroke and then select this dark red color. You wanna use the same color that I just used, is 6D2530. Okay, and I'm gonna select this one and remove the stroke, and then fill it with this lighter pink. And if you want to use this lighter pink, is F099C3. You can input this number here. I'm gonna hit OK, and just as I did with the lines on the candles, I'm gonna select this rectangle. I'm gonna click Ctrl X to cut it. I'm gonna select this mouth and go here to my draw inside mode and go Ctrl Shift B to paste it in place. And now we have our mouth. But now that I think it's kind of surprised the cake, and I wanted kind of a smile, so I'm gonna undo these last things that I did, and I'm gonna go here to my circle, and I want to go to the direct selection tool, and I'm gonna select this top anchor point, and I'm gonna press delete on my keyboard, and now you can see that I have half a circle. I think this works better as a smile. So I'm gonna select again this shape and go here to the draw inside mode, and I have already in my clipboard the tongue, so I'm gonna Ctrl Shift B to paste it in place. I'm gonna move it a little bit down because since this is a half circle, it could look better if it's like this. So I think this is looking good, and maybe I can move this a little bit closer probably, and then group again my eyes and my eyebrows with Ctrl G, and then aligning them to the horizontal center so they are aligned there. Okay, so finally I'm just gonna select this one, the top pink part, and then while dragging to the bottom, I'm gonna press Alt and Ctrl to make a copy. Now you can see that I made that copy, and I'm gonna fill it with this orange color that I use for the candles. And one thing that I do a lot, also if you have seen my previous tutorials, you know by now, is that I like to play with the transparency. So I'm gonna, if you don't have the transparency window open, you can go to Window, Transparency, or Ctrl Shift F10. I'm gonna multiply this probably and make this, I don't know, around 20%. I think that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. So I'm gonna again cut this with Ctrl X, go here to this yellow area and go to the draw inside mode and paste in place with Ctrl Shift B, and then double click outside this to go again to the draw normal option. I'm gonna select again this other copy that we just created and Ctrl X to cut it, and then go here to the bottom one of the cake and go again to the draw inside mode, and then Ctrl Shift B to paste it in place. And now you can see that I have this little shade on the bottom of the cake, and now we have our birthday cake. Now one thing I can do is select everything and just group it by going to Object Group or Ctrl G, and make sure we're here with the alignment tool that I'm aligning to Artboard and align to the horizontal center and the vertical center. And now we have our cake. Now the next thing I want to do is type happy birthday. So I'm gonna go to the type tool or press T on my keyboard, and I'm gonna click, and I'm actually going to type with all caps, happy birthday. And now I think you can pick whatever font you want, but I'm gonna pick Freepik. This is a free font that you can get on Google Fonts, and I'm gonna make it 35 points. I think that's okay. and I'm gonna fill it with this other blue color that kind of blue-green color that I had selected. If you want to use the same one, it's 33CBCC. Okay, so now we have it. I'm going to align it also to the horizontal line center and move it here to the bottom, around here on the cake. Now I don't like that it is straight, so I'm going to use another effect to change this. So I'm going to select my deck and go here to effect, and I'm going to go warp, and I'm going to select arc. And if I do this, you can see that automatically it has changed. And you can play with the options here. You can bend it in the horizontal way, to the top or to the bottom, or you can bend it on the vertical way. This kind of reminds like the clip art thing. And you can play with these options, like distorted on the horizontal part or the vertical. These effects or these styles are very good because you can make a flag. And let's go to the, for example, if you want to make a flag but in a horizontal thing, like maybe you are creating a flag and you can make the text like that, or you can make a fisheye where you can see this part closer to you, or maybe an arc upper, and again play with the bend and see something that you like. In this case, I'm gonna just play with it. Select an arc, make sure that I'm on the horizontal because that's where I want it, and I want to bend it. Let's say 20, and I'm gonna put these numbers in 0 because I don't want to have any distortion. And I think it's better if I do this less 20. That way it's going to go to the other side, and I'm gonna hit OK, and I'm gonna move this to the top so it's closer to the birthday cake. And the same as the zigzag line that we did, if we click here on the happy birthday text, you can change the text. You can, I don't know, put hello or something different, and it will bend just that we did. I'm gonna undo this because I actually want to type happy birthday, but this is just so that you see that this is great because you can still change the text. And if at some point you don't like this arc, you can select your text, and you can see here that you have this warp arc effect, so you can still change the values if you don't like them, or you want to try something else. Now finally, I want to create a very nice effect on the background, so I'm gonna create a triangle, and you can create a triangle here on the polygon tool, and if you click and drag, by default you're gonna see that this thing has six sides, but if you use your up and down keys on your keyboard, you can increase the number of sides or decrease the number of sides. I'm gonna decrease till I get to 3, that is the lowest. I'm gonna press shift so that I have a horizontal base, and then I don't know, release around here. I'm gonna change the values because I think this is too big, so I'm gonna change the width to 100, and if you see, I select the constraint proportions because I want to change them individually. So I'm gonna have 100, and then I want to change the height to 400. This is going to be quite big, and I'm gonna hit OK. And now I want to rotate it to the other side, so I'm gonna select here with the selection tool. And if you go to one corner, you can click and press shift, so you rotate in an angle that is round, and you're gonna have this to the other side. And I'm gonna make this, I don't know, this very pale gray, and if you want to use the same one that I did, is F7, 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 and I'm gonna hit OK. And I'm gonna make sure that this thing is aligned to the center, and also move it to the top so it's right there on the center. Okay, I'm gonna send it to back by again going to transform to arrange send to back, or Control Shift open bracket. And another thing that I want to do is select this and go to the rotate tool and just click here, right here where the triangle ends, and then move it here and pressing Alt and Shift while you do that. So you create a copy on the 45-degree angles. And if you remember what we did before with the line on the candle, we can just press Ctrl D again to repeat the last action we did, and Ctrl D again, and Ctrl D again, and Ctrl D again, and Ctrl D again, and Ctrl D again. So now we have all our rectangles. And I want to select these rectangles and add rectangles here on this space in the middle. So I'm going to show you, you could select them by selecting this on the top and then selecting this one, or selecting everything and then deselecting the cake and the birthday text. But you can also, since they are the only things or the only shapes on this canvas that have this color, I can select one, and if you go here on the top, you're gonna see here that you have this button that is called Select Similar Objects, and if I click on that, it selects everything that is similar. And you can of course have some options here that probably instead of all you can say, well, the same that have the same fill color, or the ones that have the same stroke color, or the opacity, or the appearance, or the shape. So you can play around with that. And I'm going to go again, once I have selected all of them, to the rotate tool, or press R on my keyboard, and make sure that my rotate center is in the center. So I'm going to select here and then move here around in the middle. It doesn't matter if you don't get the exact number, because just as they are in the middle, you can rotate them, and make sure that you are pressing Alt, because otherwise you're not going to make a copy, just as I did. Okay, and now we have our background. And finally, I'm going to select one and then go again here to the Select Similar Objects and group this to make sure that every time that I want to select the background, I just select it with one click. Now finally, we're gonna give it the aspect of a card. So I'm gonna make a rectangle, make a click by selecting the rectangle tool, and I'm gonna make this card 550 by 390, and I'm gonna hit OK. Now I'm gonna align this card to the horizontal and vertical center, and in this case I want to see it, so I'm gonna swap the fill and stroke so I can see if this is what I like. I think that's okay, but I think I can move my card a little bit to the bottom so I can have that. Okay, so because the rectangle that I just created is the thing that is on the top, I can go here with my selection tool and select everything, and then go right click, make clipping mask. And if I do that, now you can see that everything is clipped inside that mask. And I could do it that way, but if I do it this way, and if you see now that I move it here, you're gonna see that I have no background behind this birthday card, and that is not something I want. So I'm gonna undo this, and instead of doing that, I'm gonna create this rectangle that we just did and fill it with a white color, just simple white. And then I'm gonna send it to back by going Arrange, Send to back, and I'm gonna select everything, and then while pressing Shift, select again the card so that I deselect that one. And then I'm gonna do what we've been doing, the drawing side mode. So I'm gonna go Edit, Cut, or Control X, and then I'm gonna find my rectangle, because you find it here, and go to the drawing side mode. And then I'm gonna go Edit, Paste in place, and now I have my background, everything inside that rectangle that I just did. And as you can see, now it has a background. Now, here you have your birthday card. Freepik offers free mockups that you can use to display your work. So we're gonna pick this beautiful font postcard mockup, and you can go to this address or type here on the search bar beautiful font postcard mockup, and you can download it. And when you download it, you're gonna get this Photoshop file, and here you can see that we have card A and card B. We only need one card, so I'm gonna select the card B and just delete it by dragging it to the garbage can. Then I'm gonna select the card A and kind of center it so it looks better, and now I'm gonna add my design. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go back to Illustrator, copy what we just did by Ctrl+C, and go to Photoshop. Now I'm going to double click on this card A, on this icon that is kind of a preview, a thumbnail, and I'm going to get this. And here you can see that they have added different objects, and I'm going to click on the front, again double click, and now I can access to the exact design of the card. So I'm going to Ctrl+B to paste the object that I just cut in Illustrator, and I'm going to paste it as a smart object. And now I'm going to simply just scale it so that it fits the size of this card, move it a little bit to the center, and hit enter. Now, in order for me to see this design on the mockup that we downloaded, we have to close this one and save it. So now the change is going to be applied here. So we have to close this one and save it again. And now you're going to see your design on this mockup that Freepik offers for free. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.